Hey everybody, we're back, getting ready to start the 11:30 line. Real quick, while we have a down second, we're going to pause and thank our sponsors one more time. Cooper Heat and Air. Sly Cooper, this is air conditioner season, everybody. The weather's getting hot. Fix it before it breaks. Call my buddy Sly Cooper, get you a maintenance schedule, get you something done on your air conditioner so you don't get left high and dry. He'll come out and see you. He's the best out there just doing what he's doing. We appreciate him here at the podcast. Cooper Heat and Air. Get it fixed before it breaks. Sly's probably shooting around right now. He's out at Tulsa Archery Association shooting the qualifier for the ASA. He's probably about 12 up right now on that course, but don't worry, I'm going to go beat him tomorrow. I'll get my score in. Cooper Heat and Air. Fix it before it breaks. Also, hshootingsports Archery Department. Big shout out to Mike, Gary, and both Johns down there. We appreciate them all, everything they're doing for archery. If you want to come hang out with Oklahoma Archery, we're there most weeknights. Weekends we're usually off at the tournaments, but you'll be able to recognize this logo on the official CCC Archery mobile shop. It's a mobile breakdown station sponsored by H&H. We appreciate everything they do to stand behind the archery community. If you want to come see us one of these weeknights, give me a call, give us a shout, give us a text, and we want to meet you. We want to get your archery game to the absolute best that it can be. So come see us down at H&H right there in the Oklahoma City Metro. It's right off of 40. It's easy to get to from the highway, and we're hanging out there every day between CCC and the Oklahoma Archery Podcast. So we want to see you guys down there. Come say hey to us. Bring your bow, bring your arrows, bring your release, whatever you got. If you don't have something, they can probably get you rigged up. We're getting ready to start the 11:30 line here. We're going to see who we can get on here real quick to talk a little bit about their program, their kids, everything else. So y'all stay tuned for some more action. We got Kasey Bruce back behind the desk. It's double duty for him today. He didn't know he was having to babysit me and run the tournament, but it's good to have good help, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. We're super blessed with a lot of great people here. We got three different McLoud coaches on the range. We got a couple Centershot coaches on the range, and so there's a lot of floaters around too, and so we got a lot of help.
Tell us a little bit about the, would you say it was BIA?
BAI.
BAI. What does it take to get certified in Centershot? I know you said it piggybacks on the NASP certification, but tell us a little bit about that process.
So Centershot follows the exact same process or training, and we're even in the same database as NASP. And so what that looks like is that you can do either a full 8-hour in-person class, or you can do a hybrid. I am a basic archery instructor, trainer, specialist. So a specialist can train trainers, and trainers make BAIs.
Okay.
So there's 3 levels. So your first level, when you're first getting introduced, just to be a school or a church archery coach, you want to be a basic archery instructor. And it's a nationally recognized certification that's in the NASP BAI database. And for the NASP side, if you're going to be teaching in Oklahoma in a school, then you have to be trained by Kelly Boyer and his team at the Wildlife Department.
There you go.
Do you know Kelly?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think I've met him, but we run in some similar circles.
Yeah. So he trains all the school teachers, and Centershot will train all of the JROTC and all of the Centershot instructors.
Okay.
And so we'll have either a full in-person class, 8 hours, or a hybrid. Looks like they will do some online training, and then they show up for a 4 to 5 hour in-person field day.
Okay.
And so that just reviews everything that they just learned in the class or online. So they'll show up, and the first lesson is how do you set up a range? And so we'll teach them, okay, we'll set up a range. It should be loosely draped to absorb any missed arrows.
Okay.
It should be at least 1 arrow length from the back of the wall. or any hard object behind it. An arrow length is 30 inches long.
Okay.
And then you put the targets in front of that, and you should have at least 1 arrow length or less from the front of the target to the net. So that is if there's any glance offs, it doesn't go over the top of the target.
There you go.
And then we'll, there's line. There's a target line. That's where they wait while the other person's pulling arrows at the target. There's the shooting line, which we always start everybody off between 5 and 7 meters. When they're just learning archery, we want to deliver as many wins as fast as possible.
Okay.
And so we start them out at 5 to 7 meters, and as they're consistently hitting the target, we move them back.
Where do they get the nets at if they were going to want to start a program and become certified?
We sell kits.
Kits?
And so in Centershot or NASP, if you're a NASP program, you'd buy it through NASP. If you're a Centershot program, you're going to buy it through us. And so you can buy a kit or you can buy an a la carte, whatever you're needing. So in a typical kit, you get 12 bows, 2 lefts, 10 rights. You get 5 targets. You get a net, an arrow curtain. The arrow curtain is rated for 30 pounds. As you've already talked about, these bows go up to 20. So it's more than adequate for what we do. You'll get floor quivers. You'll get bow racks and 5 dozen arrows. And then a repair kit. And so that's everything that comes in your kit. Basically everything you need to start an archery ministry in your church or Christian school or camp will come in that kit. And then we have reorder supplies that you can buy if you need to expand your program and get more targets or more bows or more arrows. You can do that. If you have to replace some stuff, we got that as well. And so we work with Lancaster Archery Supply in some of that stuff, and Genesis obviously is one of our partners. Easton is our partner because we only shoot Genesis bows and we only shoot Easton 18-20 arrows.
Okay. I took a guess on the diameter. I thought it was 18 something. I did get it right.
Yep.
18-20. So they're a little bit thicker wall.
Yep.
So they're a little bit more durable as far as an aluminum shaft goes.
Yep.
And the Genesis itself is pretty easy to work on.
Yep, very simple.
Very much a conquerable task.
Right, and so back to the training. So I've talked a little bit about some of the training stuff already earlier. So after they learn to set up a range, then we teach them how do you teach eye dominance. So because that's the first thing you're going to do in class is you're going to find out who your left eye dominant archers are and who your right eye dominant archers are, and if you have any co-dominant archers. We want them to, we say that we encourage but we don't insist. So we encourage them to shoot according to their eye dominance.
Okay.
But if they're really uncomfortable doing that, then we allow them to explore shooting with their other dominant because they're probably right-handed or left-handed, and their dominant eye is something else.
I know that was an interesting point when I did my USA archery certification, is they would push disregarding eye dominance for the more motor functional favored side. So if you were left eye dominant but stronger right-handed, they wanted you to shoot right-handed.
That's really interesting.
That's
not how we train.
Different strokes for different folks, and I read that in, and I was like, oh, I'm going to be tested on this? I'm going to have to answer that question. I don't know how to really...
Yeah, that's really interesting.
But yeah.
Because I will tell you over and over and over, I see this, and it's not the case for everybody, but I've trained archers where they start out and they're right-handed, but they're left eye dominant, and it was like, how did we miss this?
Yeah.
And I put them in a left-handed bow, and they may feel a little awkward at first, but they're hitting 9s and 10s.
Yeah.
And it's really, and their confidence is boosted, and they're like, well, I had no idea I should be shooting left-handed. My dad just gave me a right-handed bow, and it's because I'm right-handed type thing.
Yep.
So we train coaches to train to that. And then we put them on a string bow. And so before they ever touch a bow and an arrow, they're given a string bow.
Okay.
And it's a non-dynamic string, and it's somewhere between 18. Boy, I forgot I should know this. I can't remember the length of the string now. But anyways, we
simulates their draw length,
yes,
their draw cycle without
exactly.
actually holding a bow.
That's exactly right. So we fit it so that this bow is a universal draw length bow. So there's no draw stops on it. So they have to stop at their anchor point. And otherwise they can pull all the way back to 30 inches and they're going to be overdrawn in a lot of cases. So we train them proper form. Okay? And we start that with a string bow. So we teach the 11 steps to archery success with a string bow first. So their stance, their knock, their draw handset, their bow handset, pre-draw, draw, anchor, aim, arch, shot setup, release and follow through. So all that is trained with a string bow prior to ever putting a bow in their hand, because what happens, especially with kids, is that they get to hold a bow for the first time. They just want to let some arrows just fly. And so they're going to be more successful if we train them first with their proper form before we ever put a bow in their hand. So when they get a bow in their hand and we start going through the 11 steps again with them, they know exactly what we're talking about. And so they're not distracted with the bow and arrow. They learn form first, then we put a bow in their hand.
That makes a lot of sense. It's usually hard when I need to use a stretch band for this, like an elastic band, but getting them to anchor has always been the challenge, because you really just don't want to put your face in that string.
True.
Because it's getting ready to go off. They want to recoil, they want to jump. It's gonna, archery is a controlled explosion between both hands that you happen to have your face in the middle of. So it is a little bit difficult to teach them to anchor, and taking the bow out of that. We're seeing on camera right here. Find that anchor point, nice and comfy. Great follow through. Great follow through. Look at that target. Look at that target down there. They're just, and this is back at 15 meters. I mean, they're just pepper in the middle of them.
Yep.
I see a lot of left-handed kids out here. A lot of them.
Yep. And I know that first time we did a church league, I had more left-eye dominant and left-handed archers than I had bows. I had to go buy more left-handed bows. I have quite a few because of that. You're right. There's a lot of left-handed archers out there.
We used the Genesis after all the ASA qualifiers to shoot for raffle tickets for our state bow giveaways.
Oh, yeah.
And it's amazing to see these guys put a $2,000 bow on the ground and pick that Genesis up.
Yeah.
And we've only got one or two lefties that wants to shoot it. One of them's Jordy Wine, and he asks me every year, he's like, "Do you have a left-handed Genesis for me yet?" And I was like, "I don't, Jordy. I do not. I'm sorry, bud." He'll either shoot a right-handed bow left-handed, or he'll pull it back and shoot it right-eye dominant. So it's not a perfect system, but it is hilariously entertaining to see all these grown adults that haven't probably, they probably shot archery before Genesis was around.
Yeah.
And they pick this thing up and they're like, "How do you drive this thing? There's no release aid, there's no D-loop, there's no sights, there's no stabilizers. It's just look down the arrow, find your gap, and follow through." I grew up shooting fingers. I didn't pick up a mechanical release for quite some time, but going back to the finger release is definitely a little bit of a learning curve.
Sure.
It's not a skill that stays with you all the time, especially on the lighter pounder bows. On a recurve, 30-40 pound, you can get a little bit of a cleaner release, and you got to really think about your follow through and your execution with the Genesis. It's not easy. There's a lot of skill that goes into it, but it is easy to pick up. It is easy to teach on. So
absolutely. The last summer we did a Centershot Blue event in Wisconsin, and it was an invite-only veterans and first responders, and we did a outdoor 3D shoot along a line. So you just went down, and we had 20 targets out there, and we just went down the line, and we did maybe we had 15, I can't remember. Maybe we did 15 known and then 5 unknown. And they didn't know that when they got there, but when they got to the certain target, they were like, "Okay, no rangefinders the rest of for these 5." You have to judge your yardage.
There you go.
Well, it all goes back to the theme, and I'm going to get to that in a second. When we got done, we did a shoot-off. We had a barebow division, we had a compound division, and we had a target division.
Okay.
And so those top archers in those areas, and actually maybe we didn't have a barebow. We had compound hunter and we had compound target.
Okay.
Those were our 2 divisions that we did. So we get there, and it was at this archery club, and they had an indoor range. It was a smaller range, but they had an indoor range. And so we took the top shooters, I think the top 2 shooters in those 2 divisions. I think there was 4 people in the shoot-off. And I was like, okay, go in and go get warmed up. And so they went in, they had their bows in there. They were warming up. They were ready to go for the shoot-off. And Aaron Shear walks in. He was like, okay, this whole thing has been expecting the unknown, or the, what was it? The unexpected. There's things in life that we don't expect that happen to us. And it's how we adapt to that that determines, our character and things like that. And so sometimes there's some unknowns in our life. And that's what happened when we were out there shooting on the range, and you get to this and you have to judge yardage when you're used to using a rangefinder. That was an unknown. You get in here, he's like, I have another one for you. Everybody put down your bows, and everybody go over and grab a Genesis. And they were like, are you serious? Sometimes there's unknowns in life.
Yes.
And it's how we respond to that.
Many times at full draw, the strategy is spray and pray.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know where this was going. I hope it isn't ugly when it turns out, but,
It's super interesting, about all of the life lessons that we can learn through archery. Mm-hmm. I was talking to the lady before when we were on here, and I told her, I said, archery teaches us to be overcomers, because it's how we respond to a bad shot into the next target. Mm-hmm. So in 3D we get one chance per target to do it right. Mm-hmm. And if we shot a 5 on that target, and maybe we've been having a great day, and we shoot a 5, and you're like, how are we going to respond to that on the next target?
Yep.
You got to get out of your head, and you have to overcome all of your negative thoughts that's in your mind, and you have to be able to recalibrate and restart all over.
Yes. It is not easy when your good day goes out the window all of a sudden, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not the end of the world.